I felt a kind of hollowness when I finished Dune. Oddly enough, I'm speaking about my experience with both the novel by Frank Herbert and Dune Part 2 from director Denis Villeneuve. Perhaps that means that it was a faithful adaptation of the beloved science fiction classic. Dune 2 is absolutely gorgeous. It's one that you really must see on the biggest, best screen you can find, preferably in a theater with really great sound. The seats were shaking at some points. There is so much spectacle here. It's a little overwhelming at times, and it's all so well crafted. Other than the lack of sweat still odd for such a hot planet, Arrakis feels real, and we see much more of it this time around. The brief, horrific scenes of the Harkonnen home planet of Giedi Prime are some of the best in the film. The arena fight with Fade was almost entirely devoid of color, creating the most uncanny sense of dread. Apparently, this was shot with infrared cameras. Cinematographer Greg Fraser does some truly incredible work here. It's quite striking. The film's aesthetic is superb and distinct, and feels more fleshed out than the first film from the Bene Gesserit in their veils, to the masked bodyguards in the arena with Fade Rautha. Costume and set design goes above and beyond, giving us a fully realized, wholly unique, and immersive sense of place throughout the film, whether in the deserts of Arrakis or the green gardens of the Padishah Emperor. Many of the fight scenes were also deftly handled. The Fremen ambushes on Harkonnen spice vessels were a lot of fun. Paul and Fade Rautha's fight is quick but brutal. It's also nice to see a darker, more ruthless Jessica fully embracing her Bene Gesserit calling, and in doing so, putting her son in grave danger and an expanded role for Chani, though her character is altered rather wildly from the book in ways we'll get to later. Javier Bardem as Stilgar wins big in the comic relief department. Paul's reluctance to accept that he's the chosen one is met with different reactions from different Fremen sects. The fundamentalists believe he is the Mahdi, while more moderate, less fanatical Fremen mistrust him. When Paul claims he's not the Mahdi, Stilgar tells his fellow believers, "See? He is too humble to admit that he's the Mahdi. That's more proof that he is." As an adaptation, it is perhaps as good as we could expect and more. Thanks for watching, subscribe and like.